There are so many new roller coasters opening up in 2025 and beyond, and I figure why not talk about just a handful of them in today's video. So how about you and I dive right in. Well, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm back in the Theme Park Obsession office, and for those that are new, my name is Dylan and I love all things theme parks. So if you love vlogs from the parks or chats like this about some of your favorites, well, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week. 2025 and 2026 are going to be some good years for roller coasters, and just recently we've received some pretty awesome announcements. A lot of the Six Flags parks are making their announcements right now, and remember that also includes the Cedar Fair parks because they're one big giant company now. Disney just made some coaster announcements a couple days ago at the D23 Expo at their Disney Parks and Experiences panel. And of course, we have some coasters to look forward to at Epic Universe, which is opening up next year at Universal Orlando Resort. But let's not waste any time and talk about Six Flags Great America. They announced a new roller coaster opening up in 2025, and that one is called Wrath of Rakshasa. It's a dive coaster. Wrath of Rakshasa is 180 feet tall and will feature a 171-foot first drop, and that first drop is beyond vertical at 96 degrees, which makes it a record breaker. It is the world's steepest dive coaster, and there's another record in here as well. It will feature the most inversions on a dive coaster, which is 5. And this one looks pretty neat. I think it's going to be a great addition to Six Flags Great America. I really love that park. The lineup at that park is actually pretty darn good. I loved it when I was paying a visit to the park last year, and I would love to go back, especially when this thing opens up. Now, to be completely honest, dive coasters are not really at the top of my list. They're a little bit lower compared to other coasters that I really enjoy. They're still fun. Like, one of my favorite dive coasters is She Crab, Busch Gardens Tampa. I love that dive coaster, and I really like Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego. But for a lot of dive coasters, they're kind of the same. The layouts are very, very similar. There's really nothing too unique about them. But I guess what's cool about Wrath of Rakshasa is this is a total custom layout. This is a lot different than what we're used to seeing with these dive machines. Obviously, B&M is the manufacturer here. But yeah, so that is one really good positive about this ride, other than its record breaking elements. But the fact that it's all custom is pretty cool. Dive coasters have been pretty popular in the industry lately, and the public loves them. And I could see why Six Flags and Cedar Fair love purchasing these coasters, because when they build them, they really do dominate the skyline. They are something that when people pull up to the parking lot, they instantly see, and it draws people in. So it really does make sense from a guest point of view. So I think this is going to do really well at that park in an already stellar lineup. Moving on to Six Flags New England, where they're finally adding another roller coaster to their lineup, and it is an Intamin launched straddle coaster. Now, for those that don't know what kind of coaster that is, it's like Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego or Wave Breaker at SeaWorld San Antonio. They're really fun rides. I've been on both of them. And I think this is going to be a really good addition to that park because predominantly it's a family coaster. And I like when Six Flags adds coasters like that. Like, not every single ride needs to be this out of control, insane piece of machinery like Wrath of Rakshasa going to Great America. It could be something more on the family side of things. So I'm glad that they're doing this Intamin straddle coaster. They're a lot of fun. They're pretty popular. There's a few of them around the world, like I was just saying. So I think this is going to be a perfect fit for Six Flags New England. Quantum Accelerator is the name of the coaster, and it will reach speeds of up to 45 miles an hour. It will feature over 2,600 feet of track, which is pretty lengthy. And what's really cool about this one is it will have 11 moments of airtime. The chain is also investing some cash into the theming as well for the coaster, which I do love. I like when Six Flags adds a little bit more to the package other than just the coaster itself. Another thing that I really dig about this coaster is the layout. They released the animated POV for this one, and it looks more compact to, say, something like Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego. I love Arctic Rescue, but what's really neat about this one is it's just a little bit more tight, so the turns and everything might be a little bit more whippy, which might be causing that extra few moments of airtime. Moving over to King's Dominion, they're adding a launched wing coaster to their coaster lineup. Rapterra will be the world's tallest and longest launched wing coaster, which is pretty exciting. The launch on this coaster is going to pack a punch, 0 to 65 miles an hour in just 4 seconds. So it's really quick. And just like I was saying with the Quantum Accelerator attraction at Six Flags, they're adding a lot of theming to Rapterra at King's Dominion. And I think they're like really going deep within the backstory of this. So I really hope the queue space looks beautiful and the station and all that kind of fun stuff. In the animated POV, it looks like they are adding some thematic elements throughout the course. And speaking of the course, this is all custom. This is not like off the shelf or anything. And a lot of the elements that are in the course are pretty spectacular looking, especially at the end with that 360 roll. That's going to feel really, really nice. I've been on a couple wing coasters, one at Six Flags Great America and the other one at Dollywood. And I've been on Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. And overall, I think they're pretty fun. I think my favorite was the one at Six Flags Great America. And when they do those rolls, those 360 rolls, the sensation is so darn amazing. I love that sensation. It's like this weird weightlessness, and you get this like these weird laterals. It's hard to explain until you go on it, and then you understand what I'm talking about. But for those that have been on these wing coasters, yeah, they're pretty solid. Is it the volcano replacement that we wanted? I don't think so, but it's a pretty good replacement nonetheless. This is a big coaster. I mean, it's not some tiny little thing. This is massive. I mean, the wing over on this thing is 145 feet tall. I've been wanting to get out to King's Dominion for the longest time, so maybe with this wing coaster coming into 2025, it'll give me an extra little push to get myself out there. There's so many parks that I still need to visit, and what's cool about all these announcements is it's just giving me more drive to get out to all of them to experience the new attractions. Because yeah, I think this wing coaster is going to be a really good addition to their already stellar lineup. I mean, King's Dominion's got a really good set of coasters. Now let's move up to Canada, to Canada's Wonderland, another bucket list park of mine. They have an incredible lineup of roller coasters, and they're adding another one in 2025, and it's called Alpenfury. Alpenfury is going to be Canada's longest, tallest, and fastest dual launch coaster, and it will feature 9 inversions, which is the most of any of that type of coaster in North America. It will reach speeds of over 70 miles an hour and feature a height of over 160 feet, and the layout on this thing is incredible looking. It's all custom. This is not off the shelf, and it's wild. Some of the inversions, remember there's 9 on this roller coaster. Some of the inversions are insane looking, and Premier Rides is making this one, so we all know it's going to be really smooth. And it does look like they're changing up the coaster train a little bit. That is one thing about Premier that I'm not really a big fan of, is their coaster cars. They're pretty difficult to get in and out of. It's like playing Tetris, but it looks like in this new coaster they're tweaking that design ever so slightly, so fingers crossed they move forward with that. But with that aside, the rest of the layout and everything is probably going to be top tier, like really good top tier stuff. And again, the twisty bits of some of the elements are so weird, and I've never seen anything like it with some of these curves and turns. So this is going to be a wild experience, and I think an amazing addition to Canada's Wonderland. I've been wanting to get out to Canada's Wonderland. They have Leviathan there, which is a big giga coaster, so I'm like already set to go there. But now with this being built, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, it's 1000% happening. I gotta start planning a trip to Canada's Wonderland whenever this is supposed to open in 2025. Now this is just my opinion here. I think Alpenfury is going to be great for Canada's Wonderland, but I would have moved it to another park. I would have taken it over to King's Dominion, and then I would have taken Rapterra from King's Dominion and put it at Canada's Wonderland. And here's why. I think Alpenfury is a nice nod to Volcano that used to be at King's Dominion. Volcano was a suspended launch coaster, and it shot through the top of a volcano. And Alpenfury has a very, very similar element to it. So I think it would have fit pretty nicely at King's Dominion, and they could have called it like Volcano 2.0 or something, or the new Volcano, and then put Rapterra, that wing coaster, at Canada's Wonderland, or something different. I don't know. Either way, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's just the coaster nerd in me. Now, before we move on to other parks, I did want to mention that we're still awaiting an announcement from Six Flags Magic Mountain, and maybe by the time this video comes out, they will announce what they're doing in that spot where the Golden Bear Theater used to sit, or maybe it's going to be a while until we hear an announcement. But since all the Six Flags parks are making their respective announcements, I am waiting on Magic Mountain, and I'm hoping it's something big, because we know Magic Mountain. Magic Mountain's all about breaking records, being the tallest, the fastest, the longest, whatever. And I mean, that's what they're known for. So fingers crossed that this is not just like a flat ride or anything, and I'm hoping that it's a major roller coaster. I hope it's something very spectacular, and you never know. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out for Magic Mountain, since all the Six Flags parks and Cedar Fair parks are making their announcements right now. Moving on though to Lost Island theme park. They're adding another roller coaster in 2025, and it's an RMC Raptor. Now, for those that are not sure what an RMC Raptor is, it's very similar to the model at Six Flags Magic Mountain that they have, the Wonder Woman coaster, same kind of thing. It's just a smaller layout. This one is very similar to Stunt Pilot at Silverwood or Railblazer up north at California's Great America. Also, Six Flags Fiesta Texas has one of these models, the Wonder Woman coaster out there, and they're great. They're really, really good coasters. They pack an incredible punch. They're perfect. They're affordable for a lot of parks, especially for something like Lost Island Theme Park. It makes sense. They're not some multi-billion-dollar thing like Disney or Universal, or even, you know, Six Flags and Cedar Fair. So it's an affordable model for them that can definitely draw some gate. What I do hope, though, with the addition of this coaster is also the addition of some greenery, like some trees. They need some trees desperately. I hope that they spend a few $1,000,000 on that, because it's supposed to be like this island theme, this oasis, you know, tiki theme. It should be very lush at that park. It shouldn't be a concrete jungle. And right now, Lost Island Theme Park has that issue. And I think that's one of their biggest issues, is there's just not a lot of shade at that park. The park has some cool rides, but they just need to really invest in the aesthetic, and I think that will help them out tremendously. And before we move on, the name of the new ride is called Fire Runner, and it's slightly longer than the typical off-the-shelf RMC Raptor coasters. I think it's like 100 and some change longer than, say, something like Railblazer or Wonder Woman. Moving on to Disney, though, Disney made some cool coaster announcements at the D23 Expo during the Disney Parks and Experiences panel, and one of those really cool roller coasters was the Monsters Incorporated door coaster. Us coaster enthusiasts have been asking for this ride for years, like years. This has been a rumor for over 15 years, I feel like. Since the movie came out and we saw that scene, I was like, oh, dude, that needs to be a roller coaster. And it's finally happening, and it's going to be Disney's first suspended coaster. Not really sure on the timeline on this one. Josh D'Amaro said that all these projects are going to be open within the next 5 years or so. It's going to be or so. Like, I don't think this is a coaster that's going to open up in 2025 or 2026. This is something that's like 2028 or 9 at the earliest, if we're lucky. You know, I'd love to be wrong. I want all this stuff to open up a lot sooner, but this door coaster looks very promising. And like I was saying, that's Disney's first suspended roller coaster, and it might be Vekoma. Vekoma is another manufacturer of some roller coasters. They've made a few Disney roller coasters, Tron Light Cycle Run being one of them. Cosmic Rewind at Epcot is another one made by Vekoma, and they're spectacular. The profiling on the new age Vekoma roller coasters is out of this world. They're so smooth, like I'm talking glass smooth. So if it's Vekoma for this one, for the Monsters Incorporated door coaster, I think we're in for a really good treat. I'm thinking this model might be an STC, which is a suspended thrill coaster, and there's a couple of them around the world. There's one at Emerald Park in Ireland, and then there's another one in Germany at Tripsdrill, and they look like really solid coasters. So I'm hoping that that's the model that we get. This is obviously all custom. It's not going to be the same models that we've seen in Europe, and I'm really excited for it. I think this is going to be a really fun ride. Disney also talked about a new Spider-Man roller coaster coming to Shanghai Disneyland, and it looks to be an indoor-outdoor roller coaster. Who knows? It could all be indoors. Again, this is another project that is a few years out, and they only showed a few pieces of concept art. And what's interesting, it looks like a Premier Rides train on this one. So maybe it's Premier Rides. Disney likes to pick a couple other manufacturers too. It's not just Vekoma every single time. So we might see a different manufacturer for this one. And again, I'm just waiting for the details on this one. We don't really know too much, other than that it's just going to be a really thrilling, fun Spider-Man roller coaster. And I think this one's going to be a really big hit at Shanghai Disneyland. When they opened up Zootopia Land, I mean, oh my God, the crowd was insane. So I'm thinking when they open up this Spider-Man roller coaster, same deal there. It's going to be very, very popular. And then there was the Villains Land announcement, and in that concept art, it did look like there was a couple set of coasters. Now, I don't think there's going to be 2 coasters. I think it's just going to be one. Josh D'Amaro did say that there are 2 attractions within the land, but I think the secondary attraction is going to be a big dark ride, like an e-ticket dark ride. And the other one will be a roller coaster, because yeah, they had those in the concept art. And if they do a villains themed roller coaster, that's going to be epic. That is going to be so epic. I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope they pull through. Speaking of epic and 2025, there are a few new roller coasters opening up with Epic Universe in 2025. I believe there's 5 of them. Yeah, I think there's 5. We got the Donkey Kong coaster. We have Stardust Racers, which is actually 2 coasters. We have the Werewolf coaster in the Dark Universe world, and then we have the Hiccups Wing Gliders in How to Train Your Dragon. And I feel like all of them are pretty solid respectively. They fill that gap between like family friendly and super thrilling. There's something for everybody when it comes to the roller coasters at Epic Universe. But the two that I'm really looking forward to, or the three that I'm looking forward to, are Stardust Racers, those two dual launch coasters. I think those are going to be incredible. It has onboard audio, the lighting package on the trains is super unique, and this thing looks like an airtime machine. Like, I'm talking airtime machine. And it was recently just revealed that this will be Universal's longest roller coaster that they've ever built. It's the biggest one they've ever done, and it's the biggest one that the manufacturer's ever done as well. The other coaster that I'm really excited for and very curious about is the Donkey Kong coaster. I'm not really familiar with the manufacturer. I've heard rumblings that it's S&S, but either way, I'm stoked for this. This is going to be one of the craziest sensations, because remember, this coaster's track sits underneath the false track. So it's going to look like we're jumping over obstacles and all that kind of fun stuff, just like the video game. So this is going to be a very interesting experience. I'm hoping that it's really smooth. I'm hoping that it's super dynamic. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an incredible addition, and I think it's going to be really, really popular. This might be one of the most popular rides in the park. So there you have it. There's a few new roller coasters opening up in 2025 and beyond. It's a great time to be a coaster enthusiast, and I feel like we still have so many more announcements to come. I feel like there's a good handful of new roller coasters that have yet to be announced, and that's just not here in the United States. It's all around the world. There are so many cool rides being built in Europe and Asia and just everywhere. Go ahead and comment down below though, what do you think of some of these announcements, and what one are you looking forward to the most? And if you enjoyed today's very chill, relaxing video, well, you can let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love these videos or vlogs from some of your favorite theme parks, well, you should consider subscribing, because I have brand new videos every single week that you won't want to miss out on. And you should also check out my Instagram account and X account. Those links will be down below in the description. And if you want to help out the channel even more, you can do so by hitting the super thanks button. But until the next video, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. I'll see you next time in the parks.